Hello, friends, and welcome to Activate and Thrive and to our weekly Thriving Thursday chat, where we visit with different, beautiful, health-minded people about many different aspects of health, of thriving, just being well. We run these chats every Thursday at noon East Coast US time at our Facebook page, Activate and Thrive. And we also stream them to YouTube and to Instagram. We don't stream them, we upload them there. So wherever you're watching us from, we're very happy to have you with us today. My name is Don.
And I am Mia, and I look crazy because I'm trying to find
We're
the
just having a
Zoom
little issue getting
icon
to
at the bottom. There we go.
Is that it there?
Yeah.
There we are. We're good. Go ahead and introduce our
Oh,
wonderful
hi,
guest.
everybody. I'm Mia, and our guest today is Dr. Amy Leverant. Amy lives in Arizona, and she's a native of Arizona, received her medical degree from the University of Arizona College of Medicine. And she has been a devoted pediatric ophthalmologist for 30 years or more, specializing in the medical and surgical treatment for children's eye diseases. And she built and directed the Retinoblastoma Center at Phoenix Children's Hospital, and she's a repeat recipient of the Phoenix Top Doctor Award. She retired from medicine, interestingly enough, in December 2020 to pursue her calling to serve God in ministry and her passion for health and wellness through Nutrigenomics. And that's how we all met. Nutrigenomics, how nutrition and natural occurring compounds can affect our genes. And so we're all on this mission together. She's deeply committed alongside her husband, who also has two degrees, one in medicine and one as a lawyer. And together they have two grown boys. And both of them are really now just all about helping lives be improved, how we can touch lives along the way. And so welcome, Amy. We're so happy to have you with us today. And
Perhaps, did you want to?
Oh, go ahead.
So perhaps we can just start by asking you about your journey to where you are now. So you were in the eye care profession for 3 decades or so, and only just recently, last December, you retired and have been devoting your full time to just helping people through again this field, nutrigenomics, the study of the impact of nutrition on genes, and just helping bring better health and more energy to people all naturally. So what's led you to this point where you are today?
Thanks, Don. Thanks, Mia. It's a pleasure to be here, and I thank you for inviting me. My story. First of all, I'm thrilled to be on this journey with you to optimize people's health and wellness. It's been already a life transforming process for me. But I'll tell you, the way my story began was actually I had 3 patients. They're all siblings that were of one family. And their mom was the one that introduced me to NRF2 activation and what the potential is and how it can help our health. As a medical doctor, I'll be completely honest with you. I had never heard of NRF2 activation before. I knew all about oxidative stress and what it did to the body and its effect on aging and disease, but I did not know about the NRF2 pathway.
I'm just going to say that word more slowly. NRF2. NRF2 activation and oxidative stress. These are terms that are going to be new to many, many people. So just wanted to say those slowly so people can get it.
Right. So basically, NRF2 activation is the pathway that's activated by our nutrigenomics, which is using plant-based products and precise ratios that actually go into our cells and activate pathways that upregulate all these very, very important survival genes. And including genes that are important for antioxidant production, for inflammation, for detoxification, and for mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. So she educated me that there was a breakthrough discovery of how we can activate that and get our bodies to repair ourselves and to fight the ravages of aging and chronic disease. And the context was that 3 out of 4 of her kids had a very severe neurological disorder that they were born with. And she wanted my opinion on whether or not to get her kids on this. And so I have to tell you, I said, Anna, I don't know, but let's look this together. She told me it reduces oxidative stress 40% in 30 days. As I'm reading the bottle and I'm saying, what? And she says, it reduces oxidative stress 40% in 30 days. I said, Anna, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. If that's true, that's going to change the way we do medicine completely. And she showed me the paper. I was completely floored. I said, hey, I don't know about you, I'm getting on the bus too. I'm getting on this. My husband's getting on this. But long story short, I don't want to dwell too much on my story, but we did put our kids on it. We felt that it was safe, and I saw some remarkable changes in their they have it's a motor problem, meaning that they have problems with their coordination and their strength and their speech. And I was front row seat to watching some amazing changes over the years where these kids were told they weren't going to walk or talk or go to school. And the kids were getting out of wheelchairs and walkers and starting to walk and do some amazing things. So I got on these products, and then several years later, was at a point in medicine that I recognized that the process of medicine was changing so dramatically. It was sapping so much of my time and my even though I loved medicine, my joy and my peace, just the way medicine had changed and how it was so full of restraints. So I jumped on and also, as you said, because I wanted to work in the ministry, I felt this was a beautiful blend of continuing to have an income, because I still needed an income, and blend that with some ministry work. But yes, I would love to talk about oxidative stress in the eye, because it's absolutely huge.
Yes, and our understanding would be that any medical professional is pretty much going to know about oxidative stress. Your eye doctor is aware of it. You probably can't study the body without being aware of it. But we as the patients are rarely ever told that oxidative stress is something that's going to be impacting many different functions. So with that, go ahead.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. As an allopathic medical doctor, there's plenty of doctors that do not know about the NRF2 pathway. We know oxidative stress in general terms because it causes aging, but really you have to realize that all of this information that's coming out like a fire hydrant. But our medical school curriculum is such that when research comes out, it takes 15 to 20 years for that to reach our medical school curriculum. So there's plenty of doctors that don't even understand the full effect of oxidative stress on diseases. But yes, oxidative stress is at the root of pretty much oxidative stress, inflammation, and mitochondrial health are all at the root of essentially all chronic diseases. So let's talk about the eye. So the eye, just like any other tissue in the body, it's the accumulation of years of oxidative stress, which is the imbalance of free radicals. Remember, free radicals are what are products of normal metabolism. These free radicals are unstable molecules that attack different components of the cells that make them sick and diseased, and they die off. So that's why our bodies naturally produce an antioxidant to neutralize these. So that's what oxidative stress is. And left unchecked, as we get older, we no longer have that ability to combat that. So in the eye, just like it accumulates like other diseases over time, like heart disease and diabetes and that sort of thing. So it's the damage to DNA, lipids, carbohydrates in the tissues that causes the damage and disease. So first of all, exposure. The eye, if you think about it, it's a huge target of oxidative stress because of exposure. The kidney, the liver, we're all deeply embedded in our body, but the eye is absolutely exposed to the environment. So we have the high oxygen pressure just in the atmosphere. Light, ultraviolet light is huge component of causing oxidative stress. Radiation, chemicals, irritants, smoke, pollution, temperature, also just microbes, bacteria, viruses, that sort of thing. All these contribute to shifting our eyes towards oxidative stress. So do you have that?
I do. How about that?
That's beautiful. So this is really, really good. So we can talk about it just from basically, I like to talk about it from the front to the back. And starting with the tears that layer on top of the eye. I don't know if anybody has dry eyes in your audience, but it is a huge problem. Dry eyes is one of the biggest complaints that we see in ophthalmology, in general ophthalmology. Dry eyes severely affects our quality of life because it's irritating, it's uncomfortable, it affects our vision, our eyes are red and tired and burning. So it's really quite huge. And inflammation is at the root of dry eyes. Absolutely. So the tears have a lot of vitamin C in them. They have a lot of glutathione, which is our master antioxidant, and a lot of other proteins, all to combat oxidative stress. So we're lucky, but when the tissues are damaged by oxidative stress, it's affecting the quantity and the quality of the tears. So that's absolutely huge. The cornea is the clear tissue over the colored part. The cornea is the first line of defense. Again, it's in the trenches against
all the elements. Yeah.
What's that?
Against all the elements, basically.
Against all the elements, protects the rest of the eye. It absorbs 92% of UVB light. And that's really, really important. It's again, all layers have vitamin C and glutathione to protect the rest of the eye. Between the cornea and the iris, there's a space, and that space has fluid. It's called aqueous humor. And the aqueous humor has its own antioxidant system as well. Then the next tissue is the iris, and there's a condition called glaucoma, which many people probably heard of, but they don't really know what it is. Glaucoma is a disease that we see in children as well.
Well, we're always all tested for glaucoma at our eye exams, right? That's something they always
yes,
check
that's a
for.
standard test,
Yeah.
and that's an important screening because there's no symptoms behind it. But glaucoma can cause blindness, and the problem with the run-of-the-mill glaucoma is it affects our visual field very, very slowly. It damages the retina. It's a disease of the optic nerve because there's too much pressure in the eye. There's a fine balance of pressure, the fluid that is built up in the eye and fluid that has to absorb out of the eye, and it affects the optic nerve and causes damage and blindness over time. But the visual field encroaches over time, and then it can affect your central vision, and then it's too late. But anyway, the oxidative stress part of it is that it damages the DNA in the mitochondrial cells. Again, the mitochondria of the cells. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but there's where it says ciliary body in that space where that little nook in there is over towards the front of the eye, but in that space, in that nook is called the trabecular meshwork, and that's what gets damaged. So the fluid does not drain out of that trabecular meshwork when you have glaucoma. So that's really, really a problem. The lens of the eye, everybody knows what cataracts are. Well, maybe. Kids get cataracts as well. They can be born with them. But cataracts, the lens is a clear tissue that between the lens and the cornea is what refracts or bends rays of light to hit the retina. So the lens is hugely affected by ultraviolet light. And over time, when we start, as we get older and we have less glutathione, less superoxide dismutase, which is another one of the antioxidants that we're supposed to be producing. We produce abundantly as we're young, but our systems decline over time. So the combination of the reduced antioxidants of our body and ultraviolet light, you get cataracts. And it's basically the oxidation of the proteins and other molecules in the eye. So going further back, the vitreous body is that's just a space that contains mostly water and hyaluronic acid, but it also has a lot of vitamin C. So God designed us with a pretty beautiful system when it works. The retina is the lining of the back of the eye where you see those blood vessels. That whole area behind there is the retina. The retina is basically an extension of the brain. It has 200 million special neurons for our vision. And just like the brain is hugely metabolically active. It's huge consumption of oxygen. And it also has a really high lipid composition. So between having a lot of lipids in the brain tissue and a high oxygen concentration, it's a huge target for oxidative stress. So one of the diseases that we know well of that's correlated is macular degeneration. And you can see the macula, and that little indentation in that part of the eye is the macula. And the macula is just so critical because that's your central vision. That's exactly, if I'm reading the letters on this screen, I'm using my macula. I'm using that to see fine detail. If somebody walks in the room over here, I see a body and I see a color of what they're wearing, but that's my side vision. So that's not as exquisite as in detail and acuity as your central vision. So macular degeneration affects that part of our vision. It affects older people. It's the source or the cause of vision loss over 65. The greatest source of blindness, or the greatest cause of blindness over 65, is macular degeneration. So it's very, very important. So basically it's the degeneration of the retinal cells, we call them the photoreceptors, and the layer behind it called the retinal pigment epithelium. So with oxidative stress, and it basically damages those layers, and you develop the disease. We know because there's links in the literature. You can go into the literature and you can find links that people who have low levels of antioxidants in their blood, and also not having good nutrition, not eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, also have a higher incidence of macular degeneration. People who smoke have a higher incidence of macular degeneration. And we know that omegas, and we'll talk about this in a second, but omega-3 fatty acids, which are something that goes along really well along with our nutrigenomic products, that and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, those are carotenoids. Those are very important for macular degeneration.
May I interject here, Amy, at this point? Well, what's striking to me, just as a layman, and I mean, at the very best in ophthalmology, both you and we have been benefiting from this product that really significantly reduces oxidative stress, and we think about, at least speaking for myself, I think about it in many different functions in the body, but not so much about the eyes. And you're making it very clear from this that, gosh, oxidative stress has huge impact on the eyes. So maybe we can pivot a little bit as we stay aware of the time with these brief chats. They're never long enough, but maybe can we leave that? Do you want to share anything else on this image right now, or?
Oh no, I do want to add, just because it was my area of
Yes.
expertise, but the cancers also, there's some cancers, melanoma, retinoblastoma, lymphoma. These are eye cancers. People don't realize that you get cancers inside your eye, but you can. And that's also at its root is inflammation and oxidative stress and free
So it's
radicals.
just so significant, this
Huge.
the oxidative stress. And so maybe we talk a little bit about when we mitigate that. What are we doing for the eyes when we can reduce oxidative stress significantly?
And on that, you also had mentioned in the course of this discussion superoxide dismutase and glutathione, and so how that is also upregulated with what we're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. The products, these particular products increase glutathione 300%. That is absolutely huge. The superoxide dismutase and the catalase are the other ones. We learned all those in medical school, but it was really, nobody knew until Joe McCord, who was the main researcher who propelled and was the proponent of and the discoverer of all these antioxidants, and he found the way to increase them in our body. So we're all blessed. We're actually blessed to have this information. It is really going to change the way we do medicine. I am absolutely certain.
Mm,
Well,
powerful.
I'm perfectly certain that not enough eye doctors are aware of what we have here to be able to help. And how do we increase awareness? Have you been able to have an impact in your profession at all with having people's eyes open? No pun intended. I mean,
Well, I think it's going to be getting out there and talking to doctors. I mean, again, I love medicine. I would have done this all over again, but it's just it's sad to know that there's still that divide, and that the way that we're trained is it's either medicine or surgery, and then we're not trained enough. And luckily the area of functional medicine is increasing, and I think they are real proponents of preventative medicine, and optimizing our own health, and getting our bodies to repair ourselves. But there's plenty of what we put into our bodies makes a huge difference. It's not only am I a huge proponent of getting on something that's activating our NRF2 pathway and our NRF1 pathway, but we need to take care of our bodies in the way we eat, and we can. Omega-3s are absolutely essential. Omega-3s in the eye is because of its property of reducing inflammation and improving the tears. But throughout the body, the omega-3s are absolutely essential. We don't get enough of omega-3s, but they're important for our cell membranes. They're hugely important for our brain health. They're protective of heart disease, cancers, and dementias. And they regulate our lipid metabolism, and interestingly also help our insulin resistance. And so many of us are walking around with this metabolic syndrome where our bodies are, and we eat so much sugar, our insulin becomes less sensitive. So I think this is going to go a long ways to keeping people healthy as omegas.
and of course we all are working with a beautiful Omega Plus product that is really it's very fresh. You can trace it from the boat to the bottle, and it's taken from the coldest waters of the North Atlantic, and we've been benefiting from this Omega Plus for some time. So our eyes must be benefiting too. So that's good. And
Well,
can
on that
well, no, go ahead.
on that subject, we both recently just had eye exams, and our eye doctor said your eyes are really healthy.
I couldn't help wondering
know?
if what we're doing with reducing oxidative stress is definitely a part of getting that good clean bill of health on our eyes. And it sounds like it may be based on what you're saying about how much oxidative stress impacts the eyes. You also mentioned or had sent us a little something about important nutrients for eye health. So you've mentioned omegas. Can you talk about some of the other?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about vitamins, and I'll try to be brief on this, but vitamin A, everybody thinks about vitamin A, and vitamin A is important because of the carotenoids. And carotenoids are pigments, basically the yellow, red, orange pigments that you see in fruits and vegetables like carrots. So people are always like, well, what if I eat enough carrots? And it is important. Vitamin A is important for our two things, front and back of the eye, because vitamin A affects the mucosal tissues and the surface of the eye. As a matter of fact, in developing countries, vitamin A deficiency leads to one of the major causes of blindness because it causes opacification of the front of the eye. And it also is important in our retinal health too. And so if you don't have enough vitamin A, you get night blindness. Vitamin C, as we talked about, is a huge antioxidant, important for tears and for corneal. If you have a corneal abrasion, we actually can treat it with some vitamin C too, because it helps in the wound healing. Vitamin D, I know we're about out of time, but vitamin D is hugely important also for dry eyes and helping with the secretions of the lacrimal gland to secrete the watery component of the tears. So, how are we doing?
Anything else?
Anything
Oh, we're
else?
good. Don't feel too rushed. We'll
Well, I want to touch on one thing that's pretty exciting. There's another, and people who are looking at this even before I have been, there's some exciting information about a bilberry. And bilberry is called the European blueberry. It's a anthocyanin, which is also a pigment, right? It's a pigment that makes fruits and vegetables, gives them the blue color, the blue and the purple and the red.
It's okay.
There's quite a bit out there in our medical literature that bilberry extract is important for anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, improves circulation, and improves tear function. So you may be hearing more and more about bilberry.
Wow. Well, go ahead.
Is there any one more or two more that you want to mention, or
and this is not new, but I mentioned zeaxanthin and lutein are also important. They're part of the retina, but people supplement, if you will, with that because there's a lot of research out there, conflicting on both sides, but the weight of the research shows that those are protective against macular degeneration and cataract formation. So by supplementing with those, I think you're doing something good for your body.
Well, this is really terrific. I mean, clearly there are actions that we can be taking to help preserve our eye health, and in fact, it helps our whole body. And we don't just have to, wait for the doctor to prescribe this or that after we've already come down with whether it's glaucoma or whatever. And so this has just been very, eye-opening about just things that we can be doing. And all of us are working with this technology that's all natural, plant-based. The product that significantly reduces oxidative stress and that has a lot of independent peer-reviewed research backing it is called Protandim, and we'd be very happy to connect with you if you're watching this to help you know more about it and how it can benefit you. And
how you can activate that NRF2 pathway and that NRF1 pathway that Amy was talking about.
Pretty much everything she was talking about with the omegas and vitamin C and D and all, we have things that can help with that. So, Dr. Amy Leverant, thank you so much for joining us today.
We could go on and on.
It's been a real pleasure to have you. And friends, thanks again for watching today. We run these Thriving Thursday chats every Thursday at noon, East Coast U.S. time, at our Facebook page. So whether you're watching here or later on YouTube or Instagram, thanks very much for having tuned in, and we hope to see you next week. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
You too.